And let me get started with my first activity for today. My first one is going to be 20 slow push-ups. And I want to tell you, when I go down, I stop when my two collarbone meets in the back. That's when I stop and return back. So let's go slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My people, another aspect. Good morning, my people, my people. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. Another day to get moving, another day to work the body, another day to be strong, another day to face life. My people, recently Ralph Gonsalves had put forward a proposal to the House of Assembly. He wants to have a referendum. He wants to have a referendum to move St. Vincent and the Grenadines from an independent state to a republic. We know that Ralph Gonsalves is chasing history. He wants to leave a mark in the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines because he wants to be remembered. But putting that aside, do you think St. Vincent and the Grenadines is ready or is prepared to take such a move from being an independent state into being a republic? Trinidad and Tobago is a republic. Barbados had become a republic a few months ago. Guyana is a republic. Those are the Caribbean states that are republics. Are the things that should have been put into place to carry St. Vincent through to be a republic, are they in place? One of the criteria, or one of the common traits we find in republic countries, no matter what size their economies are, is all republic countries has their own currencies. That means they have the power to devalue or to increase the value of their currency to meet economic growth based on what is happening in their countries. And normally those dollars are tied to the international market. So sometimes international trends determine the value of your dollar. St. Vincent do not have their own currency. We are still tied to the OECS currency. And we know the OECS grouping is a grouping that can be considered a Commonwealth grouping. We don't have our own central bank. If we don't have our own currency, we don't have our own central bank, how can we move from being an independent state to being a republic? More than that for a while. My people, another aspect of moving from an independent state to a republic state, you must have your own court system. Meaning that you must have a court system that is unique to your country and therefore unique in adjudicating the constitution and the laws of your country. For example, most countries that are republic, all of them have their own court system. Why? It is important that a republic state are able to not only create their own laws, not depending on an overriding body, but because you are no longer tied to any monarchy, you have to have your own court system. the laws of a republic will change slightly to accommodate the republic state. We don't have a St. Vincent and the Grenadines magistracy. We don't have a St. Vincent and the Grenadines High Court. We don't have a St. Vincent and the Grenadines Appeal Court. We don't have a St. Vincent and the Grenadines Court of Final Jurisdiction. Although the Court of Final Jurisdiction is not that important, but you should have a magistracy or a law court, a high court, and an appeal court system, because it is important that your jurisprudence belong to the country that is a republic. Apart from having your own jurisprudence, your own court system, and your own currencies and central bank, you have to have an oversight body that will, how you say it, that will overlook and bring to justice government official, even politician. For example, in the United States, the Congress have an impeachment system where politicians and other public officers can be brought and held accountable for unlawful and illegal behaviors that they involve in. For example, public officers like federal court judges and other politicians can be impeached. Evidence can be brought forward to the Congress or to the ruling body based on allegation that was made. If an investigation was carried out and see there that there are some credibility to the allegations, then the Congress will have an impeachment proceedings. And if it come to board that the public officers, whether it's a judge or an elected official, the evidence is overwhelming that they could be found guilty of participating in this action, then they will be moved from office. And after they are moved from office, then criminal proceeding can be brought forward against them. But my people, you know that Ralph Gonsalves has been accused by several of the female citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines of sexual inappropriate behaviors. Sexually inappropriate behavior. We know that Ralph Gonsalves would have used the instruments and the resources of government to nullify those cases. Therefore, the evidence that surrounding the allegation was covered up. The public never get an opportunity to hear those evidence. The public did not get the opportunity to hear the testimonies. If Ralph Gonsalves was able to do that while we were independent, let us say he moved St. Vincent and the Grenadines into a republic, do you think Ralph Gonsalves is honest enough and have the level of integrity to ensure that these laws that are needed to separate civil society from elected and appointed members of the judiciary and the Senate and so forth, do you think he have the integrity to bring those legislation to board? Remember, prior to his election in 2001, he ran on a ticket that he will enact integrity legislation. 21 years after the fact, the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are still waiting for the integrity legislation to come to board. It is only a man who is void, who lack out, who don't have integrity, that will make a promise, a commitment to an entire nation, but refuse to honor that commitment when the nation whom he is representing or whose resources he is managing elect him, hoping that he would have made that, honor his commitment, honor his word, like an honest citizen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Over 22 years later, integrity legislation have not yet hit St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So, would you trust Rev. Gonsalves to move St. Vincent and the Grenadines from an independent state to a republic state, hoping that he will be a man of his word and enact the legislation that is needed to be an oversight for judges and politicians who run afoul of the law or who acts inappropriately in their public office, in their public domains? My people, our next exercise is going to be one that will strengthen the abdominals, and it will strengthen the shoulder also, right? When you're doing this exercise, you have to keep your abdominals contracted. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, my people. We have to remember that we have to take a man at his words, because we cannot see a person's intent. We cannot see what are their intention. And if a man would tell you that he is an honest man, but his actions are proven to be far from being honest, we have to be intelligent enough to conclude that that man who declared himself an honest man is one who is lack in integrity and will do and say anything to deceive you. My people, Ralph Gonsalves does not have any integrity. So many people brought allegation of sexual inappropriate behavior against Ralph Gonsalves, from rape, sexual assault, and all of these things. We have to remember that a lot of these people are just ordinary citizens who put their trust into the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My people, a man with integrity will never have his name brought up in such scandal, because as our foreparents always says, if you wasn't there on the scene and participating or aiding in the participation of a crime, your name cannot be called. You are known by the company you keep. So my people, there have to be some truth in all of these allegations of sexual misconduct. I have had people who have confided in me, whose name is not yet in the public domain, because I don't have the right to put their name in the public domain, because they confided in me that they were abused by Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves. So if after he became the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, he had been misusing his authority by abusing our women, raping and assaulting them, and they were not shy to come forward and make these allegations against him. If after he has promised the Vincentian populace that when he is elected in the first 100 days, he will enact integrity legislation, and after 21 years, such integrity legislation has not come to board, we have to conclude that Ralph Gonsalves is not a man of integrity, and he cannot be counted upon to do the things he declared, promised, or commit himself to the people to do. My people, this is clear. You cannot trust Ralph Gonsalves to move St. Vincent from an independent state to a republic state, because when you are a republic state, external government has less opportunity and less chances to get involved in your political affairs, especially when we have someone who is trying to kidnap a country and to take advantage of its citizens. My people, our next exercise, we are going to work on our arms. So we stretch our foot straight ahead. We are on the ball of our heels and we are going down, touch our butt, barely touch our butt to the ground, and come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That will work your tricep and your back and your shoulders. So now, baby people, you have to be sober in your mind. I will tell you what I discovered. I've been listening to Chris Jones and One Jagger on Hot 99.7 FM. And although they criticized the government strongly, I am telling you that they are agents of Ralph Gonsalves. Let me tell you this. In California here, in the United States, the white people don't mind you criticizing them if they give you permission to criticize them. Right? But your criticism must be tailored to accomplish a particular thing. If you notice, Luke, Chris, and Jagger speaking on Hot 97, when Sir Walter Caesar was left in charge of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as the Deputy Prime Minister, and Ralph Gonsalves and Montgomery Daniel left St. Vincent on a mission on behalf of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When Sir Walter Caesar took P1 to church that Sunday morning, and you hear Luke, Chris Jones, you'd have thought Sir Walter Caesar took Ralph Gonsalves' personal car and drove it to church the next day. You would not have believed that they were speaking about a vehicle that was purchased by the government, that is owned by the government, and that should be used for government work in the capacity in which Sir Walter Caesar used the vehicle. You'd have thought that Ralph Gonsalves left Sir Walter Caesar in charge of his house, and Sir Walter Caesar parked his vehicle and was intentionally using Ralph Gonsalves' personal vehicle. You would not believe that Sir Walter Caesar was using a state vehicle for which the Prime Minister or anyone acting in his stead is supposed to be using. It is not Gonsalves' personal vehicle. When you listen to them speak about Gonsalves' suggestion of the transition from independence to republic state, you will think that these men would have thought about it carefully and would have concluded that the transition from independence to republic does not really bring any meaningful benefit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You'd have thought that these guys, Luke, I think, who went to university, would have been smart enough to conclude that our country is not ready for the transition from independent to republic for the same purpose I brought out in the earlier section of this discourse. First thing, we don't have our own currency. We don't have our own central bank. We don't have our own code system. Our economy is so failing. We don't have none of the needed things in the economy to cause us to stand our own independent as most Republicans are required to stand. We will still be in our same position. So to utilize valuable money that could put into the growth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to have a referendum and to do all of the economic transfers and the legislation, it is a waste of money for a country that has never seen any economic growth for over 20 plus years. A waste of resources. You'd have thought that group would have been intelligent enough, being a university graduate or a college grad, to come to that point. My people, don't forget, just a few months ago, on Hot 97 FM, they moved the video now. You see Chris and all of them from Hot 97 and Ralph Gonsalves dancing up and holding on and dancing together and so forth. Those kind of friendship doesn't die without a public falling out. There was no public falling out. They are there to do a mission. They want to eat two breads or lots of bread or good bread, and they are working for their bread. If they don't follow the instructions, their license will not be renewed. My people, be careful from whom you get your information. Right now, as I work out here and speak to you, they have a black guy there, across there. He was on his computer, as soon as I got my phone, he went on his phone. He is hindering the signal to go, because it is all of them. These guys are all partook in homosexuality. They are slaves, and it is their objective to see the entire black world become like them, reprobates on their way to hell. My people, I have some things to do. I think I'll just talk to you while I do this set of exercise. So I am going to do my last set of exercise, push-ups, on camera, and then I have to go to somewhere else, and I will continue my workout in the next couple of minutes. Okay, let me see what you're going to do now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Molten joy at meals. When you can do that, you do a video and show me you doing 30 or 40 push-ups straight. My people, my name is Chief Strongblood. St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora, much is my God.